And then once the flight's done, then have that automated flow of flight data into Dronedesk so that, again, you don't have to do anything. It's all done for you once you've flown the job. So I think that's where we will probably get to eventually once I pull my finger out and start doing commit to it.
As I said, it all takes time. It all takes time
to
get. I think we're perfectionists. Hey, folks, back again for another week's podcast. Again, I'm on my own, but that's only because we have a very special guest today. A guy by the name of Dorian Ellis, who runs Dronedesk. Varun is otherwise engaged on other hammer tasks. So it's just me and Dorian this week, who is currently in the waiting room, as I can see. So let's invite him in. Here we go. There we go. Just waiting to get him in. And there he is.
Hello.
Hello, Dorian. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, thank you, Alex. How are you?
Good. Yes. Yeah. Not too bad. So as I've just said, Dorian is from Dronedesk, and obviously I'm from Hammer Missions, which is that side, which I always get wrong because my camera's the other way around. So yeah, welcome along, Dorian. You are the second guest on our podcast. I think this is number 14. Okay. So if you want to explain a little bit about yourself and what Dronedesk does and how it kind of impacts the drone industry. I've got plenty of questions for you today. But let's make a start with a little bit about Dorian and a little bit about Dronedesk. Go for it, my friend.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, thank you for inviting me along. I didn't realize I was a second guest. I'm very honoured. Thank you.
No worries.
So hi, I'm Dorian Ellis, and I run Dronedesk. So I became a PFCO back in 2018, and after a long career in kind of corporate world and engineering, that kind of stuff. So I finished doing that and thought, what can I do? I know what I'll do. Drones look amazing. Let's have a go at that. So did the course, and then at the end of the course, the training company gave us a pen drive with a stack of links to external websites and a pack of about 12 or 15 different templates, and said, for every flight you do, you've got to fill all that in and check all those websites. Bye. Oh, okay.
Nice.
That
thanks.
sounds a bit nuts. Yeah, couldn't believe the amount of admin that you were expected to do for even the simplest of flights. So I kind of started the drone business and then kind of quickly became I guess disillusioned is a word with all the admin side of stuff. So I thought there's got to be a better way. Couldn't find anything at the time that would enable me to do it a better way. So I thought, okay, I'll build something then. And that was Dronedesk. So it kind of was born at that point. That was back in early 2019.
Okay.
Built the first iteration, released it free for people to have a go.
Yep.
And it was fairly basic at that point. But the idea was to pull in all the data that you needed into a single application, so you didn't need to go to all these other websites to get all the stuff you needed. We kind of released, first beta release was August 2019. And it kind of grew arms and legs pretty quickly because people loved it.
Yep.
I guess the first commercial version of it was October 2020. That we were aiming for April 2020 originally, but as we all know, things change in April.
They do indeed. Yep.
March 2020. Since kind of October 2020, we've been operating it commercially and continue to develop it iteratively based on feedback from the users. That's core to our philosophy of developing the application. We don't just do stuff that we think is good. We actively seek feedback from the users about what they want to see in the system. So we've got about 500-ish customers in the UK.
Okay.
We've expanded it into the US.
I know you went over to the States fairly recently, didn't you?
Yeah, went to Vegas.
Vegas.
Drone Expo there. Yes.
How was Vegas?
Hot.
Hot. Well,
Yes.
hotter than it is here at the moment, anyway.
Just
Absolutely,
a bit, yeah.
absolutely freezing.
Yeah.
So kind of out of interest, what made you go into the drone industry? What was your kind of your
I guess
motivation?
like a lot of people, I'd started seeing lots of video on the TV and lots of programs of aerial shots, and
Yeah.
it was becoming clear that drones were growing and getting more and more traction. So that kind of sparked my interest really, and just went from there. Got a hobby drone that I was fine as a hobbyist to start with.
Yeah, much like myself, I was a hobbyist to start with. I mean, I've been flying now for 7 years. Yeah.
Right.
And I started as a hobbyist, and then thought, ooh, I might be able to make some money out of this, and kind of did. And it's kind of gone from strength to strength, really. And obviously landed me. It's a bad pun. It landed me at Ham Missions. Okay, so let's talk a bit about Dronedesk. So what services do you offer, and to whom do you offer them? If you can explain a bit about Dronedesk and its what it does and who it's catered for.
Right. The whole underlying principle of Dronedesk is that it allows you to run your entire drone operation end to end in a single application. So it's a web-based app. So it runs in any browser, any device, and it has everything that you need, from team management to certification tracking, asset tracking, asset storage. So, for example, every asset you create in Dronedesk gets a QR code, so you can print off your QR codes on stickers, stick those on your drones, scan the assets in and out of the system. So it's great for large companies who have shared assets. But then on top of that, it also caters for smaller companies, so people just starting out, because I know when I was just starting out, one of the biggest challenges is finding new clients, right? So we incorporated some lead generation stuff. So certainly what I used to do when I was looking for new clients was dive into Google, do a search for, say I was looking for roofers to offer my service to in Devon. So I type in roofers Devon, Google give me a list. I'd laboriously go through the list and pick out the contact information and start sending emails and stuff. So Dronedesk kind of automates that first step for you. So you just do a search. It'll use the Google Search API and pull back a bunch of roofers in the local area and load them into the system for you. So all you've then got to do is start contacting them. So we've tried to cater for people just coming into the industry as well. And on top of that, we offer things like embedded contact forms for your website and all that kind of stuff. So there's lots and lots of stuff in there. So beyond the team management and the asset management, then the core of the system really is the flight planning.
Yep.
So all you need to do is give Dronedesk a location, and it will give you everything you need in order to be able to plan that job end to end.
Wow.
It will give you, for example, airspace users. So it'll calculate the flyaway radius of the drone that you've selected for the job, and within that radius, it'll give you a list of all other airspace users with their contact information, phone numbers, and everything else. Principle being, if you get a flyaway, you'll be able to ring them up and say, "Watch out, there's a road drone on the way," kind of thing.
Everyone loves a flyaway.
Absolutely, yeah. So certainly the company that I trained with recommended that you do this for every flight, right? So you can imagine the work involved in doing that if you've got a drone that'll fly for 20 kilometers.
Yeah.
Finding every other airspace user in that radius is just crazy. So we've done all that work for you. So all that data's there instantly without any effort. And then on the site plan, we pull in multiple layers of data. So we pull in altitude angel air and ground hazard data, which is exactly the same stuff as you see in NatStroke. No, it's not NatStroke Assist anymore, is it? What's it called? Drone Safety Map, or whatever it's called.
Yep.
So you get exactly the same data as you see in there. We pull in National Trust land, we pull in Crown Estates, so it gives you all that data. We pull in Ordnance Survey, green spaces, all that kind of thing. multiple layers of data. So everything that you need in order to be able to assess the risk for each and every flight.
Fantastic.
And
Absolutely
then on
awesome.
top of that, we'll give you a kind of risk assessment template. So you can set up a default risk assessment that gets added to a new job. You can do a method statement as well if you want. So it just makes everything much quicker and easier. So you click a button, select the initial risk, select the final risk, and you're kind of done. And we also pull in the weather, of course, the all-important weather.
Ah, yes. Every drone operator's second job is a weatherman.
Indeed, yes. Yes. So, yeah, we pull in weather data from Apple.
Okay.
It pains me. I'm an Android boy.
Yeah. I am too. Yeah, I am an Android chap myself.
Yeah, we used to use Dark Sky, who were pretty well respected.
Yeah, unfortunately, they are no more, which is a shame.
No, they were bought out by Apple.
Yeah, that'd be why then.
Yeah. So that's who we use for the forecast. So it gives you a kind of hourly forecast for 10 days out, believe it or not.
Okay.
How useful that is beyond kind of 2 or 3 days, I don't know, but it's there if you want it.
Especially with the weather at the moment, which changes every 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and that gives you a kind of entire job. So all this is on one screen, and all you've had to do is provide a kind of location. Do that either with a lat long, an address search, what 3 words address, whatever you want, or just click it on the map if you want to. So
fantastic.
We try to minimise the effort required.
Which is great, isn't it? I mean, to make software simple and easy to use, you don't want things to be overly complicated, which is kind of what we do in Hammer as well. You don't want to make things too complex because the end users just won't want to use it if it's too complicated.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. And if it's too complicated, that people just take shortcuts and won't do the stuff they're supposed to do, right? So
exactly.
If the CA come along and knock on your door and say, "What do you do on this job?" and you go, "Well, couldn't be asked. It was all a bit complicated."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It helps with risk mitigation as well.
Yes, which, absolutely.
Every drone op should be looking at risk mitigation as one of their top priorities. Okay, so what, according to you, in your opinion, what is the biggest obstacle in planning a drone job? Kind of a loaded question, this one, because you've already explained what you guys do, but give me your kind of view on it.
The biggest obstacle to not planning a drone job properly is not using Dronedesk.
That is the right answer. Well done. You just ultimately promoted your product in one easy sentence. That's fine. We'll just leave it at that. That's why you're here. It is, we're to talk about Dronedesk, and it is a fantastic product. So, it will spur people to use it, which is great. Okay, so what's been your biggest challenge then with Dronedesk?
Oh, right, that's easy.
Okay, is there a big list?
No, well, it's a long list, but nothing is insurmountable except DJI flight logs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nightmare. Mm-hmm. So from day one, everybody has wanted Dronedesk to do what AirData does. So if you come across AirData,
I use AirData. Yeah, I do use it.
Yeah. So that you give it your DJI credentials, and it auto syncs your flight logs into their system. Right. Now they've built a business out of that. It's a massive undertaking. They process terabytes of data.
They do.
Day after day, and frankly, we can't do that in Dronedesk. We're never going to be able to do that unless we get massive investment, which we haven't got. Yeah, it's Dronedesk is bootstrapped right up. There's no external investors. So the best I've been able to do is provide a kind of upload your log files here, and Dronedesk will process them into the system. Years actually, I haven't been able to do that with DJI because DJI, bless their socks, encode their log files.
They do indeed.
A raw TXT log file from DJI is gobbledygook.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, exactly, and it looks the same to a machine, right? So if we try and import it, it doesn't work. Anyway, so if I had to, I haven't been able to crack it for years, like I say. But I found a company in the US who've done it for another company similar to Dronedesk. So I got them to do it.
Okay.
For an eye-watering sum of money, but
Well, yeah,
it has to be done. So
don't talk figures, Dorian. It's fine.
no, yeah. So they've built an app now, or not an app, a web service that will process the log files for us. But
Okay.
even though it will do that, it'll do some drones, but it won't do others. So people keep coming back to me saying, "Oh, I'm trying to process a log from an M300 in process." So then we have to go through this whole rigmarole of. So I contact the US provider. Yeah. They then have to speak to DJI, who then come back, and it's an ongoing challenge.
Is there any way you can integrate with their data? Is that something you've thought about, or have you gone, yeah, I'm not doing it?
So yeah, that was a tale as well. So
okay.
I tried to, because that was my first thought, right?
Yeah.
Let Air Data do the work. I'll just pull the data in.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But they wouldn't speak to me, so I kept writing to them. Couldn't get a response, so I wrote a script that would do it.
Okay.
Which was great. So you provide your Air Data credentials into Dronedesk, and it'll go and pull the data in. But they realised that I was doing that.
Oh.
And took exception to it, understandably, because it's their IP, it's their
data.
Yeah. Well, it's not actually; it's your data.
Well, yeah, it's the drone ops data. It's not theirs.
Yeah. So long story short, they said kind of need to stop it unless the user has got. Unless the user has got a Air Data enterprise account.
Oh.
So if you've got an enterprise account with Air Data, you'll see a button in Dronedesk so you provide an API key from Air Data into Dronedesk. Then you'll see a button that says sync with Air Data, and it'll pull in the log file for you. So regardless of what drone you've got.
Expensive though, and not every user is going to have an enterprise account. I certainly don't, because I don't use it. I mean, a lot of ops will only use Air Data once a year to do their OA.
Yeah.
They may use the free version, and then once a year they use it to do reporting. So that's a bit difficult. But
you can do the reporting from Dronedesk, right? So if you do your flight log in Dronedesk, you can a flight log report is a couple of clicks and ready to go to the CAA.
So there you go, folks. Dronedesk is where it's at when you want to do your OA.
Yeah, especially if you've got a big team. So we've got about 85% of our users are kind of one-man bands, two-man bands, small companies, but we've got a number of large companies as well that use Dronedesk. And for them, at renewal time, when they've got to kind of herd all their operators together and get all their logs together,
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Otherwise, it's a nightmare.
So at the moment, obviously, you operate UK.
Yes.
Any other territories that Dronedesk are currently in?
Yeah, well, we've kind of ventured into the US.
Yep.
So we were approached by a company in the US who said, Dronedesk looks great. Does it work for the US? And I said, no, but we can make it.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. So it does work for the US in terms of managing your team in drones and planning flights. The only thing you can't do at the moment, you've probably heard of LANC authorizations, which is something that you need to do in the US for flights. So at the moment, we're trying to find a way to be able to do that, offer that as a service from within Dronedesk, because at the moment they have to go out to an external service to do that. But yeah, it's difficult to get traction over there, particularly being remotely located.
Yeah.
So it's growing slowly and steadily, I would say, in the US.
So do you think you're going to branch out anywhere else? I mean, I know the US is obviously a big market, the US being a huge market. Did you think there's room for expansion in any other territories?
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping to do Europe at some point. But Europe in itself has some challenges language-wise and aviation authority-wise, although they all, in theory, follow the same rules.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we go for the US largely because it's just a massive market. They've got something like 300,000 registered pilots.
There are a lot.
Yeah.
All in good time, Dorian?
Absolutely. Yes.
All in good time. The world is your oyster, my friend. You just have to take your time over it.
Can't rush a good job.
You can't rush a good job. Indeed. Indeed. I know that all too well. So moving on to a slightly different subject. What do you think are the kind of the biggest challenges in our industry at the moment?
Oh, it's got to be regulation, isn't it? It's just,
I would have said
I
so.
don't know. I don't want to say too much about it, but it's just, it seems overly complex,
Yeah.
unnecessarily so, and it's demoralizing, I think, for a lot of
Yeah.
operators.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, the
yeah,
rules, the rules do change, seemingly every other week, there's something either they've taken out or added in.
yeah,
You know, a lot of old school drone ops have kind of lost out to there being no definition between commercial and
yeah,
recreational now. Obviously you've got the drones under 250 grams where anybody can just go out and do a commercial job, which kind of sucks for us old boys who've been
yeah,
doing it for a long time. There'll still be a lot of the old crew out there that have got their clients that they'll always go to, but
yeah,
trying to strike up new business with um against those folks that have got the smaller rigs and haven't had to have gone through all the training and everything else,
yeah.
it's it's difficult. It is
It
difficult.
is. It is. It's a real challenge. And yeah, it just, I think, in some ways undermines the professionalism of the industry, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, which is
Um,
upsetting, demoralizing,
yeah,
and slightly depressing.
yeah,
Especially this time of year. You don't want to be depressed this time of year. The weather's
no.
depressing. The weather's depressing enough. I mean, how do you think? How do you think as a community that we can kind of work together to resolve those issues? It's really difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It feels like, so I'm on Facebook,
Yeah,
much to my chagrin. And there's lots of really constructive stuff on there from people,
yeah,
drone operators. I mean, obviously specifically, talking about things we can do and approaches we can take to try and lobby the CAA and
yep,
government and everybody else. But it all seems to kind of fizzle out at some point. Everybody is full of good intent, but everybody's really busy, right? Well,
yeah,
most people are pretty busy,
yeah,
and it's just difficult to kind of galvanize people into an organization that is going to be able to represent drone operators effectively in order to affect change,
yes,
in order to influence the regs. I mean, we get consulted by the CA, which is fine, but a few people, relatively,
yeah,
a few people will respond to those. And we've got bodies like RPAS
yep,
who, try their best, but there is so much going on. It's a challenge for them. So I don't know really what the answer is. It feels like there needs to be a kind of community body that is able to organise themselves properly.
yeah,
And the difficulty is, how do you do that for a body of people who are spread all over the country, all
exactly.
doing their own thing, all busy, and not necessarily motivated to
And
get involved
I
and
guess
spend time.
inside that body of people, you'll have those people that have the equipment that's under 249 grams who are quite happy
Yeah,
doing what they're doing. So they'll argue the other point. It is a really difficult,
yeah,
it's a difficult question, really. Um, it's it is a hard one.
yeah. About the PFCO,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
did,
that'll do.
for all its faults, it was clear demarcation, wasn't it?
Yeah, Pifco. It was
Yeah,
P4 before that,
yeah.
which is what I had. I started with
Well, that
a
was before my time. Yeah,
I started with a P4, which then got turned into a Pifco. That's now turned
yeah,
into a GVC. What will it be
yeah.
next? Who knows? They'll just keep
Who
changing it
knows?
every couple of years. They'll bring out some new letters for us
Yeah,
for us drone ops to handle. Um,
yeah.
have you got any anything over the period you've been doing what you're doing that you can share with with our kind of community? Is there anything you've learned over the last X amount of years that you think would be advantageous for our community of watchers or listeners to hear?
Yeah, well, I guess I would aim at newcomers into the industry.
Yeah.
And the kind of advice that I always kind of, and advice that I didn't follow when I first started, to be honest with you, is to kind of specialize as early as you can.
Pick a subject.
Pick a subject,
Yeah.
stick to it, get good at it, become an expert at it,
Yep.
and you will thrive. That seems to be how it works. People that generalize, which is, like I said, what I did when I first came into it.
As did
kind
I.
of all over the place and never quite define what it is you actually do. So customers are kind of a bit, well, does he do wedding photography or does he do roof inspections? Oh, he does everything.
Does he shoot TV? Does he do features? Oh, he's now doing roof surveys. It's and I think a lot of operators started like that. They kind of went, I've got a drone. He does all of these things. This is what I'm going to do with it. You're right. Yeah. I would completely 100% agree. If you're coming into the industry, specialize in something, find a subject, stick with it, and promote everything you can do with that subject. You're right. Yeah.
And, just stick to what. So if you're coming in from an external industry that in some way uses drones as a tool, so surveying, for example, then, you're set on you because you've already got contacts in the industry, presumably. And you've got a natural specialism that you're going to migrate towards. So, people in that kind of position are lucky. But yeah, people just coming in and thinking drones are great, I'll do everything. You're not going to thrive unless you start to niche down as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Find something that you're good at and enjoy doing. And the sooner you can get good and get experience and get the knowledge, the quicker you'll recognise as an expert in the industry, and you'll find that you'll get work from other drone operators as well who aren't able to do the work that you're able
to fulfill it. Yeah, cool. Good answer. Like it. Right. So, talking about Hammer missions now. Talking about us.
Yes.
No, that side. Camera's opposite. So, how did you first become aware of us here at Hammer Missions then?
Pretty early on, actually, a couple of years ago. When I first started, I was looking for stuff to software to use for inspections and stuff. And so on. Hammer Mission was obviously one of the things that I came across. And I, had a chat with Dorain, and we've had several chats over the last couple of years about being able to integrate Dronedesk and Hammer Missions in some way more closely.
Yeah.
We've been aware and in contact with each other for a couple of years now, probably.
Okay. So how does Dronedesk integrate with Hammer?
So, and this is my fault. I'll just preface this. Yeah. So so at the moment we've got links into Hammer Missions from within Dronedesk. So you create a job, and then on the job screen there's links out to Hammer Missions. So if you've planned the job, and then that job is going to be obviously a survey that Hammer Missions is able to handle for you, then we'll provide a link out, and you'll be able to go straight to Hammer Missions hub and do what you need to do there. But the two systems are separate. And then when you've flown the job, you can then import the log file from Hammer Missions into Dronedesk. So the flight minutes get added to the job for you.
Yep.
What Doran and I have spoken about many times.
This was my next question, which I know where you're going, which is how do you think we could integrate better in the future? Which you're just about to answer. Yeah.
Well, yes.
You preempted me.
Yeah. So, automation is obviously the way we'd love to go. What I'd like to be able to do is within Dronedesk, if it's going to be an inspection job that you can do with Hammer Missions, then provide an interface within Dronedesk that says, okay, this is what I want to do, this is where I'm doing it, and it'll fire that off to Hammer Missions for you. And then, when you're on site, you can bring up Hammer Missions, fly the job. So without that kind of manual process of having to leave Dronedesk and go into Hammer Missions to get it all set up. And then once the flight's done, then have that automated flow of flight data into Dronedesk, so that again, you don't have to do anything; it's all done for you once you've flown the job. So I think that's where we will probably get to eventually, once I pull my finger out and start doing commit to it.
As I said, it all takes time. It all takes time to get. I think we're perfectionists. I would say I'm certainly a perfectionist when it comes to whatever I'm doing for Hammer or flying or whatever. I like it to look nice, and I'm guessing you're pretty much the same. I know you're the same.
Well, no, I wouldn't say perfection. I'm a good enoughist.
Oh, a good enoughist. There's a word I need to use in the future. A good enoughist. Excellent. So, Dorian,
it looks all right. Don't worry about what's going on.
If it looks good, we'll just go with it. So what do you think is the next big thing for Dronedesk then, Dorian? What's the next milestone?
Oh, there's so many milestones. So many milestones. So, like I said, I mentioned I want to get that Lance thing done for the US. I want to provide an API into Dronedesk, because lots of companies want to send data into Dronedesk, and lots of users want to send data out of Dronedesk. And the way to do that, of course, is with an API. So I need to figure out how I'm going to do that. So they're the kind of big two priorities, really. Well, I'll nail the DJI flight logs for all drones. That'd be great.
Yeah.
We live in hope.
We do indeed.
Yeah, so they're the two big things, really, and get more traction in the US in terms of sales and so on. So that's where we're headed.
Okay, cool. And where do you see the industry evolving? Where are we all going? What's their future for the drone industry, Dorian?
Well, it's positive, isn't it? It's massively positive. It can do nothing but succeed. It's just about finding the right way to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive growing industry, isn't it? I mean, I've said it time and time again with my last guest and with Varun. Where were we 10 years ago in the drone industry?
Yeah,
compared with where we are now.
Exactly.
We're heading towards. Obviously we're doing automation, so we can do 3D modeling. We're looking at drone deliveries. I mean, there's even a drone that has a flamethrower attached to it that burns stuff off power lines.
Yeah. Did you see that one? There was a video released a couple of weeks or last week, I think, burning a beehive out of a tree.
Yes, I've got that actually. I've got that video on my phone, which I need to send to Varun, because he kind of didn't believe me, and I was like, no, it's true, it is. So I'm going to send that to him later. The burning beehive video.
Yeah.
So
and we're in contact with a company called Lucid Technologies in the US, who do spray drones, window cleaning drones, essentially.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. I mean, how fantastic is that? You take the job out of the height. You bring all the risk down, and you got a drone, basically flying an automated route cleaning windows.
Yeah. And solar panels. So there's drones that will land on a roof, deploy a little cleaning robot, and it'll go clean your solar panels on your roof here. All that kind of stuff. It's amazing.
It is. I mean, 10 years ago, it wouldn't even dreamed of that sort of stuff.
No.
So things are definitely looking up for the drone industry. So if someone wants to contact you, Dorian, what's the best way for them to get hold of Dronedesk?
Best way is email, probably. So it's Dorian at dronedesk.io.
Cool, and I'll put that in the we'll put a link in on the comments for that. Okay. So I think we've if there's is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, no. You're more than happy. Well, Dorian, thank you very much for your time today.
Been a pleasure, Alex.
Really appreciate you coming online. I know we had this planned a couple of weeks ago, and things happened, and it didn't happen. But it's really good to catch up with you. I shall do my outro bit. So obviously, Hammer Missions. You can contact us on team@hammermissions.com. You can give us a like or a subscribe on this here YouTube. We're also available on all your good podcast directories. And everything will be in the description below. Dorian, an absolute pleasure. And we will catch up with you soon.
Great stuff.
Thank you, my friend. All the best.
Take care.
Take
Cheers,
care.
Alex. Bye.
Bye. Bye.